Hello friends, in this video we will debug our pre-filter, post-filter and our APIs, user API. So in the previous video we configure this pre-filter, after that post-filter, and we will trigger one URL that is present in our user microservice, that is the status check URL. So we will trigger this URL from Postman and we will check how our pre-filter, post-filter work. And one more thing I want to tell that here the URL is the status check URL. But in the Spring Cloud API gateway, in the properties file, we rewrite this URL, right? So whenever we trigger this health check URL, internally it will trigger the status check URL. This is nothing but this URL present in our user microservice, right? The status check URL. So this path it will trigger. So let's go to the Spring Cloud API gateway. This is the pre-filter, right? So we will add the debugger. So first debugger we will add here. This is from the pre-filter. Second debugger we will add here. This is in the user microservice, right? This is the second debugger we will add here. And the third debugger in the Spring Cloud API gateway, this is the post filter we will add here, right? So whenever we trigger that URL, first of all, in the pre-filter, this breakpoint will trigger. After that, it will go to our user microservice and this breakpoint it will trigger, and at last in Spring Cloud API gateway in the post filter, this breakpoint it will trigger. So let's run all our services. Let's run the discovery service. And let's run this as a debug mode. This is our user microservice. So I am running this user microservice in debug mode. Similarly, for the Spring Cloud API gateway, this is also I am running in a debug mode. Now our Eureka service is up and you can see your Spring Cloud API gateway and user microservice already registered in our Eureka server. Okay, let's trigger. So we have this endpoint, right? Health check endpoint, just we check. So this is endpoint and this is 8082. Our Spring Cloud API gateway is running on 8082. So let's send the request. Now here you can see our first breakpoint is trigger from the pre-filter. Okay, this is present in our pre-filter and it is trigger. Let's go step over. Okay, now this request is sent. Let me resume this request. And as per our logic, it should trigger our user microservice endpoint. Okay, now you can see our user microservice, this status check endpoint is triggered. And let's resume this. Now, as per our logic, it should trigger our post filter. Here you can see the post filter that is triggered. Okay, let's resume this program. Let's check the console. In the console, you can see here our pre-filter executed. This log present here, pre-filter executed. After that, it printed the URL, right? That our user endpoint URL. And after that, our user endpoint is triggered. At last, my post filter is executed. So that is present in the my post filter. So now our pre-filter and post filter is executed successfully. Thank you.